Recently, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, made a very significant statement. He revealed that by the 18th of September, the state of emergency will expire, and this will mean that the state governor and the state assembly will return to their duties. This raises...
So you just finished casting your votes, and quite a large turnout in your ward, your unit. How do you feel about this?
Very happy. That means that people identify with the election, and people are also worried that there are no elected people at the grassroots. And so today is the opportunity for them to choose who would represent them at the local government level, from the councillorship to the chairmanship position. I have to say with this, I watched particularly your outfit when you are saying that that party. That is not correct. We should have the experience of Nigerian voters in elections. You have general elections, which is being conducted by INEC. You have local elections, which is being conducted by the State Independent Electoral Commission. And you know that most cases, elections start from 10 o'clock in the morning. So when you go to a polling booth by 9 and you think you expect people to come out by that time, that is not the usual case. I watched you when you said in Ward 13, which is Rwanda. That is purely a commercial area. You didn't go to the residential areas. I also expect that you should go to the rural areas like Echie local government, like Ikwere local government, Emoha local government, go to areas like Akukotora, Saletoro, go to Abuodua, go to Ahoda East, Ahoda West, and see what is going on. Don't just, we have about 7,000 polling units, and you just go and take 2 polling units in the commercial city, in that you know that there are no residents there. And then you judge that there's a party. But you can see what has happened there now. So also it is in all other units. Yes, you can have some units, you may not have people who may turn. That does not mean that out of 7,000 units, you have that same. No, it's not correct. And then I've also heard of you talk about, because there's no beavers. We have also complained in the general election of the problems about the beavers. And instead of you to praise research, look at the security agencies. You have not heard of any violence. You've not heard of carrying of the ballot boxes. You see the electoral materials are there. People are casting their votes. Commend them. As far as you are concerned, this election is peaceful. As far as you are concerned, people are trooping out. By the time the election will close, you will see the number of persons. So we're very happy that this election has, at the end of the day, that have been conducted very peacefully and successfully.
So what's next for River State after here?
Of course, what it means that I do know that by 18th of September that the state of emergency will expire, and then that will mean that the state governor and the state assembly will come back to their job, and then we have representatives at the grassroots level. Remember, the Supreme Court had nullified the other election, and so if this election was not conducted, it will mean that there will be no representative at the grassroots level, which would not be, acceptable by the people of River State. So, having done this, then the coast is clear for the state of emergency to be lifted, meaning that the local government has representatives, the state government has its own elected representatives. So we're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Serious questions about governance, democracy, and the rule of law. For months, the suspension of elected representatives in a democratic society has been a matter of concern. Shouldn't the people always have their leaders accountable to them rather than waiting for a temporary measure to expire? What does this mean for the future of grassroots democracy in Nigeria? Do you believe this temporary suspension of governance strengthened or weakened democracy? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Meanwhile, in Anambra State, we witnessed yet another moment that shows the power of organic political connection. Mr. Peter Obi visited Archbishop Heerey College of Health. Health sciences and technology and was received with overwhelming joy and love from ordinary Nigerians. This was not a rally, not a paid event, but a genuine outpouring of admiration. In a country where political loyalty is often bought, what does it say when crowds gather willingly, simply to welcome a leader? Does this reflect a deeper hunger for credible leadership? And more importantly, do you think organic love from the people can eventually overcome the machinery of money politics in Nigeria? On another pressing issue, Al Jazeera recently aired a deeply troubling report on the state of insecurity in the northwest region. In Batsari LGA of Katsina State, bandit leaders were interviewed inside forests where they continue to operate freely.
We arrive at our meeting point with bandit leaders. Men and boys, some of them as young as 12, take up positions in the surrounding bushes and on higher ground. The gang leader Abu Ratte, in his 30s, too shy to face the camera, delegates the responsibility of talking to us to another kingpin.
When we're wronged, nobody takes time to hear our side of the story. The security forces and locals will attack, and we respond with even deadlier force.
After hundreds of deaths among both civilians and armed gangs, a delicate truce is now holding in Batsari Area Council.
Sustained military pressure forced them to negotiate a truce. Unlike other places, there is no thick forest here for them to hide.
Here, and in neighboring Jibia Council area, the fighters have a bigger motivation to push for a ceasefire.
We make a lot here mining gold. There are a lot of benefits.
Farming communities in these areas are beginning to recover.
90% of our community are living in peace. We sleep well. Before, some of us has to leave their houses in the afternoon or in the night, in the evening time. They have to go to bush and sleep in the trees.
Northern Nigeria has been rocked by banditry for more than 10 years, the past 6 being the bloodiest. A recent attack claimed the lives of 32 worshippers inside a mosque here in Katsina State. The conflict began with clashes between farmers and herders over land and water resources. But a failure by past Nigerian governments allowed it to escalate to full-blown conflict.
Many people are into this banditry. It is so localized to the extent that you cannot even establish who is with the bandit and who is not with the bandit.
In the first 6 months of this year alone, more than 2,000 people were killed. Millions of dollars in ransom have been paid. In areas where the peace deal is holding, locals have returned to their farms, looking forward to a bountiful harvest. At Batsari market, business is picking up. The truce has allowed bandits, most of them herders, access to hospitals and markets, facilities they couldn't get to while the killings continued.
The truce has led to the resumption of economic and agricultural activities in some parts of Katsina State. This market in Batsari is seeing a steady increase in transactions, but many other communities in the state don't have such agreements, which means they still face the risk of attacks and kidnappings.
Talks have failed in the past, and the state government is refusing direct talks with what it calls terrorists.
We said we are not going to negotiate on the position of weakness. And that's why we came all out, because we learned from the experience that we have had during the last administration. Government was begging criminals to come for truce.
Analysts say the crisis has now become so complex that Nigeria may have missed the chance to stop it. But for residents of states ravaged by these criminal gangs, any peace is worth pushing for. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Batsari.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news.
The fact that international media could access and speak to them while communities remain under attack raises urgent questions of how is it that these groups thrive despite repeated promises from government and security agencies. Are these interviews a sign of transparency, or do they reveal the scale of state failure in confronting criminality? And most importantly, how many more innocent lives must be lost before decisive action is taken? Should Nigerians continue to live in fear in their own homeland? Share your thoughts below. This conversation is too important to ignore. Each of these events, the return of governance structures after an emergency rule, the organic love for a people's choice leader, and the painful exposure of insecurity in the Northwest, paints a complex but honest picture of Nigeria today. We see a country caught between hope and hardship, between leaders who inspire and systems that disappoint, between citizens who yearn for change and structures that resist it. And so we must ask, what kind of Nigeria do we want, and how much longer will we keep waiting for that transformation? The answer begins with us, the people, demanding accountability, celebrating genuine leadership, and refusing to normalize failure. Thank you for watching today's analysis on AfriFreedomChannel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing you thought-provoking updates and balanced insights. Until next time, remember, change begins the moment we decide never to accept less than the future we truly deserve.